So commission work is work that you are paid by a certain percentage, and it's set up as part of your contract. Tips is also another way to get paid, and often people calculate their tips based on a percentage of their bill. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, then you might add a 15% tip for the waitress. So hairdressers, waiters, taxi drivers, they're all examples of jobs that will earn tips. Another word for tips is gratuities. And tips can vary. They are not fixed in a contract, but they usually typically range between 10 and 20%. So the important thing to know is that tips must be declared as part of your taxes, as part of your income, so you can pay taxes on it. So this should be actually part of your income so that you pay taxes on it. And the other thing that to understand is that in many organizations, tips are shared. So because, for example, in a restaurant, the waitresses and waiters would get the tips, but they get pooled together and then they're shared with the staff that work in the kitchen or in the dish pit. So that depends on where you work, what arrangement there is to share the tips. Joe serves a table that has a bill of $145. How much tip will she earn if they tip 15%? So 15% of $145 is really what this question is asking. First step, change the percent into a decimal by moving the decimal place over. 0.15 times $145. And that equals $21.75. And that's a pretty generous tip. So often, not often actually, but sometimes you might be stuck in a restaurant and asked to pay a tip without the use of a calculator. And that's what we're going to practice in this section of the lesson. So let's say you're like Sanjay, you've got a $35 bill and you want to leave a 15% tip. How do you do it without picking up the calculator? So 15% is actually more challenging to calculate in your head. The easier one to calculate is 10%. So 10% of $35 is 0.10 times 35. And 0.10 times 35 means that the decimal place just gets moved over one spot. So that means 10% is $3.50. So I didn't need a calculator for that because 10% is an easy decimal move. Now 5% is half of $3.50. So that's $1.75. So the total tip, 15% tip, is $3.50 plus $1.75, which works out to be $5.25. Easy peasy, even without a calculator.